Hello guys, welcome back. So let's complete this story feature finally in this video tutorial. Before we proceed here on our story activity, when we set a click listener on the scene number, make sure to remove these round bracket from here and also from the last. Okay, just inside the curly brace. Anyways, let's just close this and let's go to our adapter, which is our story adapter. Now before we proceed, let me tell you one thing. What we are going to do basically. Now, basically, here you can see we have the story item, okay, and basically we have two items. If I tell you, one is this one, okay, which appear here, okay. If this is not available, if the visibility for this is gone, okay. So when a user updated a new story, then all his followers and also that same person, that online person can view also their own story, as you know that. So it will appear like this, okay, with this color. That is, the story has not been viewed yet by that person. And let's say if that person view a story, okay, it can be his own story or their friend's story, then it will become like this, which represents that this story has already been seen, okay. So we have to add a validation for the click, on the basis of which we can add, we can differentiate between these two and set the user interface using these two these two things, these two controllers, you can say. So anyways, and also the next thing is basically our for the online user, where we have this layout, okay. And also let's say a user upload more than 3 stories. So the story, this will be for add story. If a user click here, okay, let's say I upload a story, I'm an online user, and I again want to upload next story, the second story. So when I click here on this plus icon, then if a story is already available, we want to display a dialog box where we can ask the user, do you want to see your existing story, or do you want to add a new story, a new one, brand new one story, okay. So let's say if a user want to see his own story, then he can just click on the view story. Otherwise, he can click on the add new story in order to upload new story. And also that here we will display basically the round this layout, which is our this layout for that online user. Sorry, not this one story item, this one. So we will also display alongside with that. Let's say I'm an online user and my story are already available, so alongside with this here it will be appear my own story also, just like you guys can see. And if I click here, then it will automatically display my own stories also. And similarly for my friends, for my followings, my followers, sorry, the people who will see my story, okay. So they will see my story like here. And also for the people who I am following, I will see their stories here also. So hope you understand the whole idea. Hopefully you have used the Instagram app and you know about this feature. So anyways, we will just implement like that. So for that, first of all, come to the story adapter, and on the story adapter, come down, and here we need to create a function, private fun, and let's create this function by the name scene. And it will receive two parameter. One is the view holder, which is of type view holder, and the other one is the user ID, which will be of type string. So here inside this method, what I want to do is, just for the time saving, go to the home fragment, and from here we are going to copy this reference first to the story node, and then we have to pass the dot child user ID. And now we can say story reference dot add value event listener object colon value event listener, put these two curly braces. And now we are going to initialize a variable with I equals to 0 for snapshot in. Okay, sorry, first of all I forgot to add the built-in function for the add value event listener. The first one is the on data change, remove the comment, and the other one is the on cancelled. Okay, so in here now we can say variable I equals to 0, and then we can say in by using for loop snapshot in your dot children if snapshot dot child views. Now remember, as I told you, in this function we are going to differentiate between the already seen story and the not seen story, that is the new story, okay, which I told you in the start of this video. So if this not exist, add this exclamation mark not. So we are checking if the snapshot.child views, and further we have to extend this up to .child. The current user ID, which we can get by firebase auth get instance dot current user dot get dot uid. And after this, let's just move this. This is the condition, okay, inside this if statement. We are not yet gone outside of this. So let's move it so that we can see the code easily. So if this exists, and the second condition is to check the time. So system dot current time. Let's move this to the next line. So if this is less than snapshot dot get value story class dot java dot get time end. So we have to check their time also if the story is not yet expired, okay. So this is the condition, okay. The first condition is to check that if this thing not exist, and which is the online user, okay, inside the views, and to check the time if the story is not yet expired, okay. So hopefully you understand this. This is our condition. Now inside the if statement we are going to increment our I variable with a 1. So now if I is greater than 0, we have visible our story image view dot visible, while we will just make our story photo scene disappeared, okay, if I is greater than 0. This go on and change this to story image scene, which is our this second layout, I mean this one, okay. So now in the else statement, if it is not greater than 0, which if the I is less than 0 or any other condition, for that we have to make the visibility for our story image gone, the second one to visible. And now the next thing is we have to create another function in which we will differentiate between the online user story, that is, let's say my story, with the other stories, and also to display a dialog box in case if I have already uploaded any story, and which will ask the user, that is, do you want to update any new story or to see your own existing story. It will receive 3 parameters, okay. The third one will be click, and it will be of boolean type, and inside this function we need to create a reference to our story node. Move this user ID from here. Here we can say firebase auth get instance dot current user dot uid. So story reference dot add value event listener object colon value event listener var counter equals to 0. Now for this, go to the home fragment, and we have already right here something which is copy this for loop. Okay, from here come back here and paste that. Make sure to add these two functions, which is the one that I changed on cancelled, and then in here paste that. So if snapshot in period dot children, well, if time current is greater than story get time start and time current less than story dot get time end, then we have to increment our counter. If click, and here we have to check that if counter is greater than 0, then what we want to do. Now this counter represents the number of stories that an online user uploaded. Okay, that is I mean how much story, let's say I uploaded and I'm currently logged in and I want to view my own stories. Okay, so that counter basically represent that numbers. Else if it is not greater than 0, which means if there is no story uploaded yet. So in this case, if it is already uploaded, we want to create an alert dialog which will be of type alert dialog dot builder. Here we need to pass the context. What is the name of the context? Context. Why it is showing this error? Oh, sorry. We have to initialize like this: alert dialog equals to alert dialog dot builder and context dot create alert dialog dot set button alert dialog dot button new comma. So view story will be the first button inside this alert dialog, on which if a user click, what we want to do: alert dialog interface I. Let's change this name to which. If the user click on the view story button, then we are going to send the user to the intent, which is the story activity. So let's just copy this intent from here and paste that here. So we are going to send the user to the story activity, and alongside with that we are going to pass the user ID Firebase auth get instance in order to, here we have to pass the online user ID, which we can get using Firebase auth dot get instance dot current user dot uid. Okay, so we are passing the ID of an online user alongside with that, and then we can start the activity and dialog alert dialog dot dismiss, while the second button will be to add a new story. So alert dialog dot set button, and it will be button positive, and the name of this button will be add story. Don't worry, when we run the application you will understand all of these things. Okay, so we will send the user in this case to the add story activity dialog dot dismiss, and make sure to display the alert dialog dot show. Inside this else statement we have to check if counter is greater than 0, text view dot text equals to my story, and the image view dot visible view dot gone. Else there is no story available, we will just say add story and it will be visible. Now that's it. And now the next thing is here inside our function, I mean the click distance that we set on our item view. Now here we want to add a condition. If holder dot adapter position not equals to 0, okay, this double equal, so not equals, then we have to call the scene story. Now let me tell you what this means. Whenever we use this thing, okay, not equals or operators like this, okay, which means if this is equals to this, now it basically check the equality, okay, but if we use 3 equals operator one time, then it will strictly check also for the data type, that is for comparison between two variables, but this will check strict type, which means it will check data type and compare two values, okay. So that's why we use this double one. So hopefully you understand this. So anyways, we will call the scene story function, and as you know that it needs two parameters. The one is the holder and the next one parameter is the story dot get user id, and then the next condition is if, let's just copy this, if this holder dot adapter position is equals to 3 equal operator, okay, and that will strictly check the equality alongside with their data type. So if this is equals to 0, we have to call the function which is by the name my stories, and as you know it needs parameter holder, I mean the text view, so which is our add story text holder dot add story text, and the second parameter it needs is the view holder, sorry, holder dot story plus button, and the third parameter it needs is the boolean, which is the check variable, okay. Make sure to add this non-asserted call here. So yeah, that's it. And now the next thing is, before this item view we check this, and also inside this item view we have to add a condition. So let's just cut this code from here, Control X, and we have to check if holder dot adapter position becomes equals to, I mean if this is 0, else if this is not 0. In case of 0 we have to call our this my stories function, and in case of not 0 we have to call the, sorry, wait a second, no, if this is not equals to 0, then we have to paste the intent that we earlier cut, okay, which is well intent for sending the user to the story activity this time, okay, not the add story activity. So yeah, that's it. And by the way, this adapter position 0 and not 0 represent our layouts, okay, our layouts position. So if this is 0, it means that this is an online user and we are displaying alongside with that also this add story item, and for displaying the other user stories we are, I mean the it represent not equals to 0, which means the other people's stories, okay. So that's why if a user click on it, then we send the user to the story activity. In case of 0, we are calling the my stories function here. So this is all about the stories feature, okay. Now we will test the application, but one thing we have to do is, I mean that is related to the home fragment, okay. On the home fragment when we display basically the post, I mean the picture of people, so whenever, let me just show you the layout, then you will understand it. This post layout, okay, this post layout, if you come here, when a user click on the profile picture of any post, then we will redirect the user to that user profile, I mean to display their profile. And if a user click also on the username, then we will do the same thing. And if a user click on any picture, then we will display the full post alongside with the, I mean the full image. Okay, so hope you understand this. So for this we have to go to the user adapter quickly. Oh, sorry, not the user adapter, I mean the post adapter, where we have this, I mean all the details related to our post. So go to the post adapter, and here we have, if you scroll down inside our own bind view holder, just like we set the click listener event for the like button, all these stuffs, we have to set a click event for our these fields, which includes our profile image. Okay, profile, the username, and the post image. So yeah, let's just come here, and inside the onBind view holder, we can just say here that holder dot post image dot set on click listener. Same is for the holder dot publisher dot set on click listener. Also on the profile image and for the post image. Come here to the notifications, this notification adapter. Come to the notification adapter, and on the notification adapter inside, when we set the click listener on our item view, from here all you will need is just to copy this thing, okay, file editor, and then paste it here for the post image. So here we need to pass the post ID, which we can get using post dot get post ID apply, and yeah, the rest of the thing will remain the same for the publisher. Come here to the notification adapter, and here we have this, inside this else statement we have write this code, so just copy it from here and paste that inside the publisher, also in the profile image, and make sure to change this to post dot get publisher, and same for the profile image, post dot get publisher. And for the last one, which is the post image, we will just paste the code for post ID get post ID, this thing. Okay, just copy this and paste it inside the click listener event for post image. So that's it. Now come here to the story adapter, and on the story adapter, when we say that holder dot item view, if a user click on it, then make sure, I mean it is basically we are adding this condition, which is a boolean type, okay, which this my story function will receive as a parameter. So we are sending here from here false because there is no click event, okay, but here if a user click on the item view, it means that this is clicked, so we have to change this value to true. So once you have done this, then run the application and let's test it. So the app is now running, and let's just add a story. 26-10 Now before running the application, one thing is the most important thing which we need to verify is that here you see, when without a user here, I mean related to the adapter position, we are calling this function which is by the name my stories, and we are passing this boolean false. I hope you know that inside my stories we are receiving this as a parameter false, and if a user click, I mean if any event occur, the click event, and we make sure to send this as true, okay, that is a click event occur, which means the user click on the item view, because on the basis of this boolean we are basically setting our view, that is if the story has already been yet seen or not yet seen, okay, and then we update our UI on the basis of this boolean. And one thing which we need to do is here inside our my stories, when we say that if click, then we are doing inside if counter is greater than 0, and here you can see this else statement. Cut this else statement from here, complete else statement, and our this first if, which is if click, add that else statement here. Okay, and inside this if statement, I mean this inner if statement, we have to add an else statement where we are going to send the user to the add story activity in case if there is no activity exists. So add story activity, remove the alert dialog dot dismiss. Yeah, that's it. Inside our scene story function, when we say that if I is greater than 0, then we have to display a story image, and then story image gone. Otherwise, okay, when we send the user to the story activity, so on the story activity, if you come here on the story activity, we are receiving this information by the ID, this ID, okay, which is, sorry, user ID, okay. So make sure to use the same ID when we are sending this ID, okay, user ID. And also come down, and here make sure to change this also, which is we are sending to the story ID. And also, by the way, we do not need it on the add story, but anyways, let's just change it here also. Okay, and one important thing is here you can see we by mistake just say that alert dialog, but it is this dialog interface dot dismiss. Same is here, okay, alert dialog dot dismiss, sorry, dialog interface dot dismiss and dialog interface dot dismiss, and then alert dialog dot show. Once you do this, last thing that we need to check is the home fragment. Okay, on the home fragment, so the mistake that we did here is basically our recycler view. If you come here at the top, I mean the recycler view is for our story. From here, first of all, remove this reverse layout and stack from end. And here we need to specify that our this layout, this related recycler view is horizontal. Okay, the layout for this will be horizontal. So context comma linear layout manager dot horizontal comma false. So these are the changes, I mean, that we must do. So let's move this code for the post here, and then the story alongside with the this one. And these are our recycler view for the stories. Recycler view dot set has fixed size to true. And now let's just check one more thing. Also here in our the user info, when we say that add value event listener, change this to add listener for single value event. Same in our my stories. Okay, here also change this to add listener for single value event, and here it is reference dot add value event listener. And one thing before testing the application is, the last thing is basically, if you have already the story node which we created in the previous tutorial, make sure to delete the previous story node. And I will tell you the reason now. Because in this story node, if you come here to the add story activity, we forgot to add the current user ID. That is, let's say I'm an online user, so all the stories that I will upload will save under my ID, okay, under this parent node story dot child story. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pass, after that make sure come here to the add story, okay, this is inside our this add-on complete listener. When we basically say when we upload the image, okay, when we get the image URL, So then we create a reference to the story node, and after that make sure to add this child where we want to pass the current user ID, which we can get using this. So make sure to add this. Let me move it to the next line so that you can see this easily. Okay, so this is the reference up to the current user ID under that story node. So let's say if I upload a story, then it will save under my ID, so we can easily track that. And we have, by the way, write the code for this reference. I mean, using this reference, that we have a story node, and under that we have the current user ID. Only by the user ID we can only recognize the stories. Okay, and also we are adding that alongside with the user ID here. So this is important, I mean, to add this, because we have wrote the whole code for retrieving and displaying the stories using, I mean, for this reference, which is story node and then the user ID that we pass here. So hopefully you understand the whole idea. Now is the now is the time to run the application and test it. So yeah, let's just run the application to see how it works. So the app is running now, and also let's just check the database alongside with it. So let's just click here. Let's quickly select any image, and now we can just crop it quickly. So adding story, and here you can see the story has been added successfully. If you click on the home button, then here you can see the story appear here. And if I show you the story node, then inside the story node we have the user ID, which is the online user. If I show you, currently Muhammad Ali is online. Okay, also by the way, the image is displaying here, and if I expand this, R7 is the ID of Muhammad Ali. So for each user under that node, I mean, all the stories will be stored by a unique key. Here you can see it. Let's just add another one, then I will tell you the other features. Now also here you can see my story and then this information. So if you click here, then it will tell you two things. Either the dialog box about which I talked earlier, view story and add story. So if you click on the view story, also you see the notice the, I mean, here you can see the progress bar, seen by one, and delete button option, and it will automatically close if you I mean, if the after 6 seconds. Hope you know that we have already given the 6 seconds. I mean, for 6 seconds it will appear. And here you can see now the layout automatically changed to the gray one. I mean, the already seen thing is gone. Okay, the round color. Hope you notice that. Now let's just add another one. So here you can see view story, add story. I will click on add story. Let's just crop this. So adding story, and now you will see for the new story, it again, I mean, the layout changed to this one. I mean, you can see this red color just like you guys see in Instagram. Now you can see it is like that. Now if you notice, I have uploaded basically two stories. Okay, on the first story, which you already see, okay, the view is added to it. Okay, the code for which we already wrote on our I mean, this activity in the previous video tutorial on the story activity. Hope you understand that I already explained each and everything. So for this activity, I mean, this new story, we have not seen it yet. So let's just click on it, and here you can see it will just show you the story, the new story that we just uploaded, and then it will move to the new one. Okay, basically this was the previous one. If you click on the right side, then it will move to the old activity. This is the old activity which we already seen, and this is the new activity. Hope you can see the progress bar here also. Let me just maximize the screen, I mean the emulator size, so that you can see it. But anyways, when you run it, you will see it by yourself. Okay, here you can see it, the first progress view, and then some space, just like Instagram, and then automatically the second one start. If you click here on the left side, okay, then it will send us to the previous image, and if you click here, it will move it to the next image. And as I told you, you can view all the stories that you have uploaded. So the view is also added to our second image, okay, which you can see here, and it will automatically close after 6 seconds if there is no more stories available after that. By the way, we will also check this now for the other users. So for that, what I'm going to do is, first let's just go to profile. I'm going to see who are my followers. So I'm going to log in now as Gia Parker. Okay, so then we will see how it looks on other people's profile. So let's just log in quickly. And as you know that Gia Parker has not yet seen my stories, so here you can see the layout. Okay, that is, the Gia Parker has not yet seen my story. If you just click on it, then here you can see the view edit for this story, and if you now move to the next story, then here you can see the view updated for that one also. So hopefully now you will understand the functions that we wrote earlier, okay, I mean in the previous tutorial and also in this tutorial. Okay, so these are basically the way that is I mean you can see it now. Okay, and now let's just add a story for Gia Parker, as Gia Parker is an online user. Here you can see it. Gia Parker is the online user. Now let's just click. Let's just select any picture and then let's just crop it. So adding story. So the story has been uploaded successfully, and in order for an online user, okay, the story has uploaded successfully, all you're going to need is just to click on the home button so that it can refresh the array list. Okay, and here you can see it is now appear here. So whenever you upload for an online user, okay, whenever the online user, I mean upload a new story, all you're going to need is just to press this home button. Or also, and now I mean when we click here, then you can see the image. Okay, and by the way, the other one is the placeholder, and here you can see after 6 seconds it automatically turn off this story, and here you can see also the scene by is added to it. And one thing, now if we go back, let me just I mean also check the scene by. If we click here, okay, this feature is not yet working. Okay, so we have to take care of it. Let me just check. I just click on the wrong side, I mean this number. Yeah, on the number, when you click on this number, then it will work. Okay, by the way, we have to make sure that the user do not click on this scene by. For that, let's just restrict the user to not click on this text, which is basically this one. Okay, just I mean the user will click on this number. Only in that case an online user will see the people who as you know that only one person, and that is Gia Parker herself. She see her own picture, okay, seen by. But if you click on this text, then the app crash, and we have to check, I mean we have to restrict the user to not click on that. And if a user click on it, then we want to do no action on that, I mean on the click event of that. By the way, just come here, and so the error is basically on previous function. When we go back, so here in the on previous, basically we have to add a condition which will basically return if the, as you can see now, the reason for this is, let me tell you one more time. If we open this, if you click on the first story, okay, and then if you click on the back button, that is here, then the counter is basically less than 0. Okay, so we have to add a condition for that. So we have to say, if there I mean no story exists, then what we gonna do in that time. So we can say if counter -1 less than 0, then we can just return it, okay, which means to not execute the rest of these two line of code, okay, and just return it from here. Just check this, if this thing I mean if this condition match, just return it. So this will solve this problem. Let's just run it. Now the app is running now again, and now let's just click on the back button, and here you can see nothing happened. It just I mean refresh the progress bar to the 0, I mean here to the start. Here you can see it, okay, and now if you just go next, and here you can see it, close it. And same for the this one. If we go next, then it will display as the next story. And by the way, if you click here, and I mean this image, hope you know about this. This is basically the placeholder, I mean the other image, which I mean to display the placeholder until the code, or you can say at the back end, we receive this image, I mean each image. So yeah, that's it. Now also let's just check the delete feature. If I click on delete, then here you can see deleted, and you can see that story has been gone successfully. Now I'm going to add a new story. So let's just select this image and let's just crop it. So adding story, please wait, we are adding your story has been uploaded successfully. Now what I'm going, okay, first of all click. So here you can see the story has been added successfully. Now what I'm going to do is, let's just log out from here. I just want to show you guys the other feature. Let's just log in my Muhammad Ali account. So here you can see the new story appear here at the start. Okay, and now if I click here, then here you can see there is no delete button and no seen by, because this story belongs to Gia Parker and not to me. Okay, if I click on my own stories, then only in that case I will see this. Okay, now if you click on seen by, okay, then it will not, I mean the seen by do not work. You have to click here in order to see the total number of views, that is who has basically see your story. So it will display the people who has see your story. So here you can see recently Gia Parker see my story, and I myself, I mean see my own story. So hope you see that, and the same is for this story. Here you can see it. So yeah, that is working really nice. And if you want, I mean, you can go to the next story, to the previous story. So in this way we have completed this series. Okay, this Instagram series has been completed successfully till this video tutorial, and now we will soon start a cool brand new chat app project in Kotlin using Firebase. So hopefully you will also love our new course too. So don't forget to check out our new course also. If you are interested, then you can just enroll in it. So take care of yourself very much, and yeah, bye for now. And don't forget to give us positive reviews and feedback.